Top 9 jokes in the US. Number 9. There is a man in the hotel lobby who wants to ask the waiter a question. When he turned and walked toward the counter, he accidentally bumped into a woman beside him, and the elbow touched her chest. The man turned and said, "Miss, if your heart is as soft as your chest, you will forgive me." The lady replied, "If your words are as hard as your elbows, I am in room 1221. Number 8. A young man walked in and sat down at the bar. "What are you going to do?" asked the bartender. "I want 6 glasses of Jägermeister," the young man replied. "6 cups? What are you celebrating?" "Yeah, my first BJ. In this case, I will give you the 7th cup, the small shop treats. I don't mean to offend, sir, but if the 6 cups can't get rid of that taste, then there is nothing else." It turned out that he was not BJ. Number 7. A business person boarded the plane and found that he was lucky to sit next to a beautiful woman. After exchanging a brief chill with each other, he noticed that she was looking at a manual on sex statistics, so he asked her the book and she replied, "This is a very interesting book about sex statistics. It points out that American Indians have the longest penis on average, while the average Polish is the thickest." "Oh, yes, my name is Jill. What about you?" He replied coolly, "Tonto Kowalski, very happy to meet you. First name is the Indian name, second name is the Polish name." Number 6. One night, when a couple lay down to bed, the husband gently tapped the wife's shoulder and began to rub on her arm. The wife turned and said, "I am sorry, dear, but I have an appointment with a gynecologist tomorrow, I want to stay fresh." After her husband was rejected, she turned and tried to sleep. A few minutes later, he turned and patted his wife, this time whispering in her ear, "Do you want to see a dentist tomorrow?" Number 5. Bill works in a pickled cucumber factory, where he has been working for many years. One day he went home and confessed to his wife, saying that he had a terrible impulse. He always had the idea of inserting his own DD into the pickled cucumber slicer. The wife suggested that he should talk to the sex therapist about this issue, but Bill thought he would be ashamed to speak, so he vowed to overcome this impulse. One day a few weeks later, Bill's face was gray and he returned home. His wife immediately became aware of the seriousness of the situation. "What happened, Bill?" she asked. "Do you remember that I told you that I want to put my own dye into the pickled cucumber slicer?" "Oh. Bill. You shouldn't." "Yes, I did, God." "Bill, what's the result?" "I was fired." "No, Bill, I asked what happened to the pickled cucumber slicer." "Oh, she was also fired." Number 4. A man went to the hospital to visit his wife who had been in a coma for many years. This time he decided to touch his wife's left breast instead of talking to her. He found that his wife was a little bit moving when he was touching. The man hurried to tell the doctor. The doctor told him that this was a good phenomenon and suggested that he try to touch the breast on the right to see what would happen. The man went back to the ward to touch the breast on the right side of his wife. As a result, she made a noise. The doctor suggested that he try BJ again and said that he would wait outside because it was personal privacy and the doctor did not want the man to feel embarrassed. The man came out after 5 minutes of going in. He looked pale like a bed sheet and told the doctor that his wife was dead. The doctor asked what happened, and the man replied, "She is stunned." Pig man, mistaken doctor's advice. Number 3. A man walks into a bar with his pet crocodile. He put the crocodile on the bar, then turned and said to the surprised alcoholic, "To make a deal with everyone, I will open the crocodile's mouth, put my cock in, and then it will close the mouth for a minute. Open, I will take my guy out unscathed, and each of you will invite me to have a drink as a reward for witnessing this spectacle." The masses whispered and promised. The man stood in front of the bar and took off his pants, put his DD into the open mouth of the crocodile, and the crocodile closed his mouth in the breath of the audience. After a minute, the man hit a crocodile's head with a beer bottle, the crocodile opened his mouth, and the man took out his guy unscathed, and the crowd cheered and gave the drink to the man. Soon the man stood up and made another proposal, "I will give 100 yuan to anyone who dares to try." There was a silence between the crowds. After a while, the bar raised one hand behind the bar. A blonde said shyly, "I can give it a try, but you have to promise that I can't knock my head with a beer bottle." Number 2. A little man walked into the elevator, and when he noticed, a tall donkey stood next to him. The tall scorpion looked down at the little man and said, 7 feet high, 350 pounds, the younger brother is 20 inches long, 3 pounds on the left, 3 pounds on the right, Turner Brown. As a result, the little man passed out. The tall scorpion lifted the little man, patted his face and shook his shoulder to wake him up. Then he asked, what happened to you? The little man said, sorry, what did you just say? Tall scorpion said, 7 feet high, 350 pounds, brother 20 inches long, 3 pounds on the left, 3 pounds on the right, I call Turner Brown. The little man said, thank God, I thought you wanted me to turn around. Number 1. A couple has been married for 50 years, and they are sitting at the breakfast table one morning. The old gentleman said to the old lady, think about it, we have been married for 50 years. Yes, the old lady responded, think about it, we sat at the breakfast table 50 years ago. I know, said the old gentleman. We may have been sitting naked like a hard bird 50 years ago. The old lady giggled and said, so you think, should we take off our clothes? When the two of them took off and sat back to the table, do you know, dear? The old lady gasped and said, my nipples are hot for you like 50 years ago. I won't be surprised. Mr. Lau responded. Because there is one that is immersed in your coffee.